everybody. It's Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show. You can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you see, I have a friend with me today. Ladies, you are welcome. His name is John Assaraf, and I find you beautiful. God creates many beautiful creatures. So let me just introduce you to John, for those of you that don't know John. And we're actually talking about winning the game of money today. So I'm really excited to talk to John about this. John is an entrepreneur. He's a researcher and explorer of consciousness and human behavior. His love and passion for discovering and teaching people how to release the internal mental blockages that hold them back really is his life purpose and meaning. And I just love that, John. In the last 25 years, he has grown 5 multi-million-dollar companies. He's written 2 New York Times best-selling books. And his current company, Praxis Now, is a research and development company that creates some of the most powerful evidence-based brain retraining tools and programs in the world. John, you probably have known John from The Secret. You've probably seen him on many TV shows like Larry King Live. So I'm so happy to have him on the Quantum Success Show. So welcome, John.
And it's great to have you on, and it was really nice to talk to you earlier and find out that you're living where I used to live in Montreal, so that was fun.
So, John, I mean, I know that obviously there's to have success and to create money and, you know, really working with the universal laws. I do believe, obviously, there is the inner game and then there's the outer game. But I'd love for you to explain to everybody what you mean by, you know, to really create success and money, there's an outer game and an inner game.
Well, we all know that, you know, our thoughts make up our inner game, our beliefs, our perceptions, our habits make up our inner game, the stuff that goes on between our ears. And then there's the outer game. And if you think of life as a sport, whether it's the sport of health, wealth, relationships, career, business, or whatever we might look at, every one of these sports has so-called rules associated with them. And based on what you do or don't do, or what you know or don't know, determines how well you play the game. And so what I've found is when you can really get the inner game, the things that you're thinking about, the things you believe, your habits and your perceptions lined up, and you learn what you need to do in the game, let's say, of money, to earn more money, and you combine those two, now you're playing the game of money at a higher level than you were before. And I have this visual that I always keep in my head, and I show a lot of my clients and friends, that we always have a choice. We can play the game at the kindergarten level, at the grade school level, at the high school level, at the college level, at the PhD level, or at the expert level. And each one of the levels allows you to achieve more and more physical success. And when we talk about money, money is just a way of keeping score of how well you're playing the game of commerce. Because money is just a means of exchange. And so if we go back in time, we used to, you know, trade rocks, shells, chocolates, animals. Then we moved to coins, paper. And now we transfer this thing called money electronically from, you know, one so-called bank account to another. And the whole game is based on how much of my product, my knowledge, or my service can I provide to one or more people around the world that want it? And that determines how much money you actually make.
Awesome. So do you have tips that you could give right now? And what are like exact steps that people can take to change, you know, really from the inside out so that the results are 5, 10, 20 times, you know, better in the next 12 to 24 months?
Okay. So if we were to take a look at your current results right now, all of your current results, so let's say you're making either it's a salary at a job or an income because you have your own business. The result is nothing more than an indication of what you've been doing in the past. So the first thing to understand is that because we're creatures of habit, we're going to think the same things we do most of the time. We're going to feel and do most of the same things because our brains become addicted to our emotions and our behaviors. So if you want to, let's say, 3 to 5 times your personal income or business revenues in the next, let's say, 12 to 24 months, the first thing you have to do is start to develop the mental image of actually being there. And so how do you develop the mental image? You start off by writing exactly and precisely what does that look like. So if you were to say, here's my current income, at 3 times my current income, here's what my lifestyle looks like. Here's the clothes that I'm wearing. Here's where I'm traveling. Here's the charities that I'm serving. Here is the script, basically, that I'm going to create. And you write it down so it's absolutely clear, like a Hollywood actor or a Hollywood actress's script would be. You write your script as if it were real right now.
Absolutely.
That's step 1. Step 2 is you create a time every day, or 2 or 3 times preferably, where you do the equivalent of what we call as mental rehearsal. So you take a look at your script, you read it, you feel it, and you act as if you're going to be getting $10 million to act that role. And what you do when you start to do some mental rehearsals, you start to create the neural pathways or the neural patterns, the brain patterns, to get your brain to start to focus on that which you are reading and emotionalizing and visualizing. And the reason you want to do that is because of something called automaticity. And that is the brain's ability to take something that you do repetitively and then make it automatic. And once you make it automatic, then your brain starts to look for things in your physical world that match with the new mental image that you've given it. That's step 2. Step number 3 is you ask yourself, what would I have to believe in order for that new image, that new life, that new income to be real? So what would I have to believe about myself? And write that down. What would I have to believe about the possibility of that happening? Write that down. And then every day, as you're mentally rehearsing and pretending initially that you're acting this role and that it's true, you also look at the beliefs that you need in order to make that real. And now you tie in, from a neurological perspective and an emotional perspective, the belief you would need to have as if it was real.
I love that.
So that's a very, very simple way to get started with how do you triple your income. Is you don't triple your income or make 5 times more money by learning more strategies and tactics. And I'll prove this to everybody who's watching and listening right now. Do you already know 2 or 3 things you could be and should be doing that would help you make 10, 20, 30% more income right now? From the books you've read, seminars you've gone to, DVDs or CDs or cassettes, depending on how old you are, that you've already listened to and you already know what you could be and should be doing. And everybody's nodding their head. The question is, why aren't you applying it? And that's because of this thing called automaticity. And this is the area of my fun is the brain research behind all of this. And so what you want to do is you want to create the automatic new thoughts, emotions, perceptions, and paradigms around what you want your income to be like, and then you'll actually start to apply what you already know. Forget about anything new.
I love it because, I think there's so many people that maybe have written it down, maybe have done the visualizations. They're like, why am I not attracting what I want? So I love how you go deeper into that, and that's what I love about your work is that it's really about, reprogramming your brain. Because if you have a belief that says, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, then you can visualize till you're blue in the face and nothing's going to happen. If you have that, it's like a big wall that's blocking you. So
there's something in the neuroscience field called coherence, neural coherence. So imagine if part of your brain was playing rock and roll music and the other part of your brain was playing classical music. There would be a chaotic vibration or feeling. Well, that's exactly what happens in your brain when you have a vision and a goal, okay, that is, let's say, 3 or 5 or 10 times bigger than what you want right now or what you have right now. But underneath that goal, you have this negative beliefs about I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, whatever that is. Basically, you have chaos going on in your brain. And when you have chaos going on in your brain will default to all of your comfort zones and what you already know, automaticity. But when you align what it is you want, the new vision, the new beliefs, the new habits, with retraining your brain at the unconscious, implicit level, Now you create coherence where you have both parts of the brain working in synchronicity like a beautiful orchestra without any part of the brain playing out of sync and out of tune.
I love it. That's a great example. Wonderful. Awesome. So can you give, like, you know, I like to give on this show. It's a quick show, but it's like I like to get tips, and you already gave 3 really good tips as far as like what to do to get started now. But what are like 3 things people can really do right now to start making, you know, really more money?
Okay. So when we think about making money, you've got to keep remembering that money is just a means of exchange. So the first question that I always ask my clients or friends or family is, what do you have? What product, what service, or what bit of knowledge do you have that somebody else will want and is willing to pay for it? That's part 1. Number 2 is, what makes what you have different or unique or better than other people who have the same product or knowledge or service to offer? Like, how are you different? And then make sure you understand that. And then number 3, the real key to making money is, how are you going to get that product or service or knowledge or whatever it is that you have in front of 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people? And that is where understanding strategies and tactics come into play. So if you think about, you know, how do people sell, you know, whether it's $100,000 of their product or service or $1 million? Well, they have developed a formula of getting their message and their uniqueness in front of more people. So if somebody wants to make 2 or 3 or 4 times more money, even if you're an employee right now, I had a woman, I'll share a story with you that will put this in. I had this young lady who was 26 years old making $50,000 a year working as a receptionist at a law firm. And she said, John, I'm working 60 hours a week at this law firm. How could I possibly make more money? I said, well, what is unique about what you do? And she said, well, it's easy for me. I know how to do this inside and out. I know every process, every procedure, and I can do this anytime I want with my eyes closed. I said, well, if you want to make more money and you're at the limit of what the law firm is going to pay you, could you teach what you know to other people who want to learn how to become excellent at their job as a receptionist? She goes, easily. I said, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to take your knowledge. I want you to create a manual. And then I want you to create a flyer. And I want you to go to all the law firms in your building and say that you're going to hold a training on Saturdays and Sundays to train their new receptionists on how to be an amazing receptionist. And you're going to charge $250. It took her 30 days to lay out her manual. It took her 1 day to drop off the flyers, and the first weekend she had her event, she made an extra $2,500.
Wow.
Then she implemented more strategies and tactics, and then she was able to replace her yearly salary by doing several weekend sessions in a row.
Wow.
And then she left the law firm and makes over $250,000 teaching people how to be excellent at being a receptionist. So the same information used in a different way can help people make more money. So you start to think about, how do you take either your job and your knowledge around that and teach it to others who don't have your skill sets, or if you have a business, it's strictly a function of learning better sales and marketing strategies to help get in front of more people with the right message and what we call as a sales process, a well thought out process to help people make a decision to work with you.
That's awesome. And I love how you gave the example of someone that's an employee that did that and now is an entrepreneur doing, you know, creating money by what she's already knowing, what she already knows.
Yeah.
So.
And I guarantee you this gal's probably made, I'm going back 10 years, that story just popped into my head.
Okay.
I guarantee you she's making $500,000 to $1 million now.
Awesome. So I am so happy that we connected, and thank you for being on my show. I'm so happy to have you here. Any last words that you want to share with what I like to call my family?
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you for introducing me to your family.
You're welcome.
And the thing that I'd love to share with everybody is the reason that you have the desire to be healthier, be happier, make more money, give more to charity is because the inherent nature of our species, the human species, is for fuller expression and expansion. We want to have more, be more, give more, and do more. So that's natural. The key is to become more so that you're able to fill the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And the best news is all of the how already exists.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John.
Thanks, Christy. Have an amazing day.